I'm going to have so much fun tonight. We're going to have so much fun tonight. I want to keep this thing rolling. I want to bring up our man of the hour. He's going to screen this lovely piece of art, and then we're going to keep it going. How do we feel? He needs to feel that fucking love in this motherfucker. You guys already know him. He's a beautiful person inside and out. You've seen him on MTV. You've seen him on Netflix. Make some noise for the very funny Giulio Gallarotti. Bring it up here for Giulio.
Give me up for Josh. Put this here. What's up, guys? I was like, I could hear everything that was going on back there, and I was like, wow, all three of my family members in the crowd have participated within 90 seconds of the show happening. All three of them have spoken. My mom, my dad, and my uncle. What's up, guys? So I originally had thought that maybe I would come up here and just do like a stand-up set, but it felt kind of weird. Like it's specific enough of a night that I think I feel a little better kind of just giving you some backstory about like how this random, like seemingly random project came into existence, as well as sort of doing a little tribute to adventure. So yeah, I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who hasn't seen this video before, but this video took place during a trip that I took to Africa a few years back to do comedy with comedians in Rwanda who I met on the internet, which like, I know that sounds kind of crazy, you know what I mean? And I guess it is. And you can imagine how it went when I started pitching people. I was like, dude, what do you think about like this? They're like, dude, you're fucking nuts. It is. Like, you know, and I couldn't tell them they were wrong. I had no idea. I had never done anything like that. I didn't know anybody who had ever done anything like that. So like, I don't know. I'm like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is reckless. Maybe this is a stupid thing to do, you know? Actually, how I ended up finding them to begin with, I was reading a magazine that had nothing to do with comedy. I think it was one of my dad's magazines. It was just like out on the counter. I'm like reading it. And this article pops up about these comedians in Rwanda. And I was like, well, that's like intriguing, at least. And there were some like names in there. So I decided I would message them on Facebook. And then they messaged me back. And I was like, I would love to come perform. And they're like, okay. I was like, so anyway, like still, like that wasn't compelling enough. Like I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do here? I went back and forth. And then one night I drank way too much tequila and I woke up in the morning with a non-refundable flight booked to go to Rwanda. Crazy. So anyway, I start messaging with the one guy, Babu, who you guys are gonna meet later. And I was shocked at how like our colloquial speech was so similar. We're texting and he was saying shit that any of my friends here would say to me. He was like, it's gonna be lit, bro. And then he's like, I was like, oh yeah, man, it's gonna be dope. He's like, it's not just lions and tigers over here. I was like, this guy's awesome. This is really fucking cool. And not just that, like I start looking at their social media and their Instagrams, all that shit. And not only were they real, but they were so similar to anybody that I would know here. And I was like, what? This is so interesting. And then I started to think like maybe there's a really cool angle here to film something. You know what I mean? Because if in fact these guys are that similar to everybody that I know here, there's an opportunity to make a video about Africa that's not like your typical video about Africa. You know what I mean? In fact, it's not about Africa. It's about the shit you don't associate with Africa. Like burritos and Tinder and like drinking with the boys and playing PlayStation and like all this shit. Or just like awkward shit. Like our Airbnb host got really mad at us because one night we brought girls back and he was like, for your own safety, you shouldn't be doing that. But he also had been telling us the whole time how he was like a super Christian. So we're just like, this is weird, dude. And we ended up making a video about that too, which we'll talk more about that a little bit later. So anyway, I had this like realization probably a week before we decided to leave, or I decided to leave to go on this trip. Everything was booked. So I hit up a couple of my buddies, my friend James Manzello, to direct it. He's not here tonight, but as well as Zach Ray, who is an amazing director of photography. He is here tonight. If you can give him a huge round of applause for taking that leap. taking that leap with me. Very cool. So, now we're adding multiple people. I was like, all right, I can't really afford this, but whatever. I just spent all my money on I just arranging all the stuff. And once I kind of ran out of money, I hit up my two friends. I was like, dude, do you guys want to invest? And they were like, yeah, sure, dude. My friends, Teddy Margulies, Philip Chartouni, also here tonight. If you give them a round of applause for believing in the project. They will both be receiving their agreed upon percentages from tonight's proceeds as well. So anyway, yeah, we went, we shot it, we came back. I had to learn how to edit, and I had a really shitty computer, so there was definitely a learning curve, but I'm pretty excited with what we ended up with, and it ended up being pretty cool. So we'll get to that in a second. But you probably are all wondering, how did we get here to begin with? You know what I mean? You don't just start with that. You build to that, And actually, I've become kind of an avid traveler. Anybody who knows me knows that. And I remember the moment where I decided that was something that was really important to me. I was in Italy, staying with my grandparents, and I decided I was going to take a trip by myself to visit my friend in Germany. I got on a train, and it went through the Alps, and we were kind of in a tunnel for a really long time. It was the middle of the summer, and at one point we popped out of the tunnel, and there was just snow dumping everywhere. And I was like, dude, this is sick. And it kind of made me think, I want to, suddenly all the FOMO I had of going to stay with my grandparents in the summer and, missing out on all this social shit and, opportunities, I realized that all of that was just bullshit. You know what I mean? I didn't need any of that. I felt so light, and I felt so present, and it felt amazing, and I was like, I want to do this all the time, And I've been, chasing it kind of ever since, chasing the dragon. But literally that day, I started making a list of all the places that I had ever been. And I've continued making that list to this day. Most recent addition, Ames, Iowa, which was fucking awesome. I really believe that every place has something to offer. And my girlfriend Hillary loves to joke that, yeah, give it up for Hill Dog. This is just a show of applauding every person I know. Let's just give it up for everyone. But anyway, so she jokes that I'm the only person that she knows who likes the airport. And I do. I love the airport. I love planes. I love all that shit. And I was with my buddy Ricky the other day, and I asked him, I'm like, dude, do you know how many flights you've been on this year? He goes, dude, you're the only person who knows that about themselves. I'm like, okay, that's fair. One thing I always find interesting is that places that share a border, sometimes the people have nothing in common. That always blows my mind. That's the thing I find interesting. A couple of years ago, I went to Russia, and then I went to Finland directly after, and it blew my mind how these two groups of people had nothing in common. In Russia, people are super intimidating, not that friendly. They even tell you, they're don't be afraid if people don't smile. They don't smile there. And I was like, what? I was like, why? They're because they think that you're a pussy if you smile. I was like, all right, dude. But in Finland, people are so friendly, and it's almost weird. You're like, dude, chill. So I remember a good example of the comparison between the two. In the airport, the same exact thing happened to me. I walked through the metal detector with change in my pocket. It beeped, and I was like, oh, sorry, should I put my change in the basket? And in Russia, the guy just looked at me, and then he took the change and put it in his pocket. And I kind of just stood there for a second, and then I was like, all right, I guess that's yours now, dude. Just keep going. Finland, the same exact thing happens. I walk through, beep, beep. I'm like, oh my God, should I put my coins in the basket? And the guy just goes, it's nice to have money. I was like, dude, are you trying to bang me? What the fuck is that? I don't know what it is about my face, but people feel very comfortable just being themselves to me, even people I don't know, to the point where I get mansplained to all the time. People just think I don't know where I'm going. I'll be walking through a parking lot, they're like, it's that way. I'm like, all right. Thank you. Thanks for that, dude. I saw the giant fucking, but it happens with travel too. I get a lot of unsolicited travel advice. And a lot of the stuff, I don't really agree with. Sometimes I'll hear people be like, dude, be careful. Americans are targets abroad. And I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I feel if you look different, that makes you a target. But just by being American, I don't think that makes you more of a target, unless you're being a dick. And I feel like maybe sometimes Americans can be dicks in other places. I witnessed it in pure form. Like, I was in the Dominican Republic, and there was this guy in the airport. By the way, he had like a sweater tied around his neck. He just looked like a fucking tool. You're like, this guy's gonna be trouble. So at some point, he realizes his group like was lagging behind, and he turns around in the middle of the airport in front of everybody. He just goes, "Hey, keep up! This is a third world country!" And then he doubles down. "This is a third world country!" It's like, dude, Jesus. So it's like, oh my God. Whatever. Like, that guy was obviously a dick, but I understand that people get, hesitant about shit. And they're not wrong for being hesitant. Like, it's okay. You should be a little hesitant. But I find myself getting into conversations with people all the time about what places are acceptable places to visit. And if one of these places isn't on like a list of places that like everybody's been, people tend to, I find, be kind of like generally cautious or be like, maybe you shouldn't go there. But I find that if a place, like, as long as nothing terrible is happening there, it's probably okay to go. You know what I mean? And terrible means like an act of war, or a failed state, or some kind of like. I heard Francis loving that. Or a place that just has a ton of fucking violent crime. Like, clearly you don't want to go to a place like that. You know what I mean? And for the record, I'm not suggesting that like everybody should want to go everywhere. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to turn you into me. I'm just saying, I feel like maybe some people with a little nudge, they might take a trip that isn't as difficult as they think. And I think that this video really sums that up nicely, because before I left, I remember I was telling people, yeah, I'm going to Africa. And before, like, just a small talk, before they even asked me where, they would just act as if I said somewhere super specific. Like, Africa's fucking huge. There's so many countries, it's gigantic. And the fact that, like, people, instead of saying where, would just go, "Be careful, dude." I'm like, you didn't ask where, dude. Like, that's crazy. It's just, like, such a generalization. And not to mention, like, it ended up being super hypocritical at times. Like, there was times where I'd be at a party with some of my friends, and they'd be like, "Dude, be careful in Africa, man." And then 5 minutes later, I'd watch them do cocaine that they found on the sidewalk. I'm like, you are way more likely to encounter fentanyl than you are any kind of hostage situation or whatever it is that you're scared of, dude. Like, let's just, but listen, I get it. People are right to be concerned, especially my parents, who, they get a pass. They're my parents. You know what I mean? Anytime I say, hey, I'm going to go here, anytime I say I'm going somewhere and I met the person on the internet, they're like, please don't go. Like, are you serious? But in their defense, like, they get scared when I ride a city bike. So, like, they're never going to be okay with what I'm doing, which is fine. You know what I mean? So we talk through it, and then I'll go, and something really cool ends up happening. And the thing that's funny is my dad then acts like he knew the whole time that it was going to be chill. Which is absurd. I'm like, "Dad, are you serious?" He goes, "What'd I tell you? I told you it was going to be awesome." I'm like, "You told me don't go, dude. You said don't go." And it's funny now, like, I don't know what he's going through, but his new thing is he wants to get a pilot's license, which I would argue is a much more controversial thing than any trip I've ever gone. And the other day, he started giving me, like, a speech about it. He's like, "You know what? What's the point of living life if you're not going to take risks?" And I started going, I know. And then he, like, paused for a second. He's like, "You're going to use this against me, aren't you?" And I was like, 100%. My mom, too. My mom, like, one time my mom sent me I forget where I was going. It's not important for this story, but, like, she sent me a text. It was a screenshot of the Wikipedia page of the movie Midnight Express. And, I don't know. I know that, like, I didn't know what that movie was before she sent me. So, like, I don't know if maybe some of the younger people here don't know what it is. It's a movie that's based on a true story about a dude who gets thrown in a Turkish prison for, like, trying to smuggle drugs or something like that. And I'm like, "Mom, I'm not going to Turkey, and I'm not selling drugs." Like, what? This is the most loosely related piece of advice I've ever gotten. Like, this would be like me texting my mom a picture of a dead raccoon on the side of the road and being like, "Mom, it really worries me when you walk around the neighborhood." Or sending her a picture of Chernobyl and being like, "Please stop cooking with the microwave." I don't know. You know, I'm busting their balls, but I have certainly given them a fair share of headaches. Even like when stuff isn't super shitty, sometimes like when stuff isn't super dangerous, I mean, or like life-threatening, it can still be shitty, and I put people through a little bit over the years. Hillary, my girlfriend, is one of those people. On that Russia trip that I was talking about before, when I got there, somehow they fucked up my visa. So I apparently attempted to enter the country illegally, and I got detained. So now I'm just detained, and they made my dad go through, so I was with him. That doesn't matter why. We don't have to get into it. It was a work trip for him. He's like, are you sure it's a work trip? I'm like, yeah, I'll come. Immediately I get detained. He's like, this sucks. So now I'm just detained, and I have my phone, and I have service. I don't know what the fuck's going on. It takes me like 7 or 8 hours to realize that I can actually book my own flight to get out of here. So I was like, oh, sick. So I don't have good enough service to do that. So I'm like, baby, can you book my flights? Like, and she's like, sure. So like the only place we could think to make me go, because I had a couple days to kill before I could go back to Russia, right? So she's like, my sister is actually opening this like amazing hotel in Turkey. If you want to go visit her, you can go. We'll figure it out. So she booked me a crazy way to get there. Like I had to take 3 flights, and I didn't have any clothes. So I arrive, and now I'm at this sick hotel. Her sister opens the door. I think she was in a robe too. And she's holding a stack of brand new clothes. She's like, here are your clothes. I've made a hotel reservation for you. And I'm like, I've never even been on a trip with my girlfriend, and now I'm on a romantic getaway with her sister, who apparently is also my sugar mama. This is fucking awesome, dude. But all right, all this is to say, when I got back from the trip from Rwanda, I realized it was so obvious that there was nothing to have ever worried about. And anytime I've ever talked to anybody here about it, all they have to talk about is like the genocide in Rwanda, which happened, in the 90s, or the movie Hotel Rwanda, which is about the genocide that happened in the 90s. And I just didn't think that it was fair to like hold that judgment against Rwanda, even if it's just like a casual thing. You know what I mean? It was just so obvious to me that there was virtually no risk, and I wanted to show people that, that maybe there's nothing to be scared of. And I feel like, it's maybe a very important thing to try to push yourself out of your comfort zone, because the world really does have a lot to offer if you're willing to give it a shot. So I just feel like, if you're curious, hopefully through some of my work, maybe it'll give you the nudge that you need to go on your next adventure. So without further ado, let's watch this video. Thank you, guys.
I'm about to be the first American comedian to perform stand-up comedy in Rwanda. It's like a random... I found the group of guys on Facebook, like guys and girls, it's called Comedy Nights, with a K. And I messaged them, I was like, hey, like, if you ever have something going on, I would love to come by. And then, like, a couple days later, I was on a flyer.
For the first time ever, comedians from USA, Guinea, Congo, Kenya, Uganda, 3rd of November at 6 p.m.
The best part is that he just reached out, and they were like, yeah, come on down to Rwanda and do this comedy. It's so Giulio, in the most Giulio way. This is Giulio's thesis in comedy.
Yes. Don't miss. There are 2 funny guys, and umwe ashobora kuba ari funny by appearance, undi akaba funny by words of acting, I don't know. But one thing I'm sure of is that you're funny guys.
Yavuze ngo nubundi ngo ntayibaza yuko adasekeje umurebye.
So wowe
ahita ambaza ngo wowe se.
Bandines bazi.
Wowe se.
Eyo mama sita. Eyo ma signorita. Eyo mama sita.
There we go, man.
Eyo ma signorita.
Yo mama masita. Yo ma signorita. Yo mama masita. Yo ma signorita. Bam bam bam. Yo ma signorita. My heart is so real, so real. Yo love.
I'm the biggest stand-up comedian from South Sudan. There's actually no food in South Sudan. People are dying of hunger, people are small, so the rest of the comedians are smaller than me, making me the biggest.
you love me, burundu. No, no, no. Kondu sa kukukundo. Kuka. Yo mama sita.
102.3 Kiss FM. Business
Yo ma
News.
signorita.
Like, I don't even think any white niggas have gone to Africa. Julia's gonna be the first white nigga to go to Africa.
My friends have no idea, and I don't know if it's just because they don't know anything, but I think that they represent maybe the like larger opinion in a sense, where like people just think of Africa as this backward fucking place.
My friends are like, dude, what's it like, man? Is it different over there? And I was like, I don't know. I just ordered a burrito and I'm on Tinder, so it's not that different. You know? Everything's kind of the same.
Comedy is about, you know, finding that stuff that you guys can relate to, and how the fuck do you relate to Tinder in Rwanda? Unless I'm completely wrong, unless they have Tinder in Rwanda. Who knows what's going on? Do they have internet? Like, I know that sounds ignorant, but I actually don't know.
This guy has been getting messages on Tinder from Rwandese women.
So, if anybody's out there and you see me on Tinder, I'm looking for dates. Hey, what's up?
Nothing much. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm sorry that I didn't get out in time to do the movie with you. That would have been fun. You know I'm down for the cause. All right. I'll text you. All right. God, I fucked that up. For the cause? Wait, but...
One time, we love it, we live it, making music, just making our head, trying to express whatever the fuck we have to.
You don't know.
They have Airbnb in Rwanda? No
Probably
shot.
not, no.
My name is Jean-Claude. I'm a father of two. I'm civil engineer. I'm a born-again Christian. And this house is built with Christian environment. Means that there is some kind of Christian value, so that there are some things you have to respect.
So Julio, I am a born-again Christian. There are some things I don't like in my house. Smoking,
Of course.
drinking,
Okay.
Facebook,
Sure.
soy milk, and most importantly, women.
So wait, is that like if you went and do jokes about masturbating, do they not care? Do people like that?
Yeah, it depends on how you bring it. You see how I brought it up on education. But it was sex education. The education curriculum or system was kind of adopted from the West, you know, from Europe and the States and everything. But there's some things that were left out, like sex education. You know? So imagine if we would study sex education in Africa and they're asking like some student like in a class setting and the teacher looks at the student like, you, we don't. Kalisa John, we don't. Abarashi Kalisa John. Mwana wanambwira. Kaba tubwire ingaruka 10 mbi zo kwikirisha. iya mbere ni iyihe? Number 2, you forget a lot. Okay, you forget a lot. Okay. Number 3, nayibagiwe.
Say something like that. So, do you think that the stuff that Babu and I know you're like that's your homie, right? Mm-hmm. The stuff that like they're doing, like you think that it's like important and like
it is important, bro. Let me tell you, it is important with what's going on in the world here and there. For example, if you made your research about Rwanda as a country that went through genocide and a lot of Rwandans dying, you need a good laugh, bro. You feel me? You need a good laugh. I mean,
so you guys started bringing up like the global perception of Rwanda and stuff, and then I said something, and then the guy was like, he's like, so you're saying Rwanda has a terrible global image? I'm like, no, I didn't say that. I like tried my best to like cover the tracks.
You told us about the image, the bad image you've been knowing about Rwanda. But
He was actually agreeing with it.
Right.
It was like, there's a certain image that is not all the time positive.
Right, because people kind of heard about what happened many years ago, and then they haven't really heard much since.
Do you think this face here
It's funny.
is funny?
No.
Even in Kenya, some people think the genocide still happening.
Really? Really?
Yeah, the Tutsi genocide.
That's crazy.
So I went in Kenya, some rural area, and we were talking with these guys like, wait, you're from Rwanda? Like, well, how do you guys live in Rwanda? I'm like, The same way you guys live here in Kenya, I guess. He's like, no. I mean, with the war and the genocide against the Tutsis, how do you guys live?
These guys are neighbors.
I'm like,
they're
what?
Right, they're like over there.
I'm like, what? Yo, Rwanda is safer than Kenya. Rwanda is safer than this bus. You were in a bus at the moment. Rwanda is safer than this bus right now. What are you talking about, eh?
Get up, hey. It's never too late for a little groove on. Never too late for a better fly zone. Switching up wheels when you really feel like. Skip to the next floor. So tighten your shoes and get your cool on. You can bring them all, get them into night mode. Fill up the gas, bang, bang. Yeah, we heading at 80. We heading at 80, yeah. 1-0, 2-0. All of a sudden, Giulio is the hero. I shaka ta ta, nigga, shaka bang bang. Be hooded in my G and none but a G thing. When you hear that, just know it's time to go on him like we don't give a damn. In the mothership heading to the ADM. In a Mercedes-Benz drive with too many M. Smoking SS, popping pills like M&M's. On my side chick, got the bag on the head. So my man, you can leave your worries home. Switch up your phone, turn up the tone. Once you grab up a shot off Patron as we get it on until the morning sun. It's a turn up.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah,
That's dope, man.
What was that?
Yeah, that was really dope.
Cool.
So it's crazy how that's how the world is now. I can just read about something and message that person if it's something I want to do, and maybe we can work together 2 months later. Is some dude who like nobody really cares that much about going to do comedy in Africa that cool? Like, I don't know. It's cool, right?
Good. Thank you. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you. I want to give another special thanks to our friend Ishmael. I think his name's, I don't know if his name's Ishmael or Isumbabi Ose. It's like unclear to me what his actual name is. It's either one of those two things. He was sort of like our eyes and ears on the ground over there and just helped us kind of like set shit up. And he was super helpful. I just want him to know that he was appreciated if he happens to be watching the live stream in Africa. Okay, so we have one more video before we're going to get these, the two guys from the video on Zoom. There's another comedian from over there who's in the video as well named George, who's very funny. And this story comes from something funny that happened. By the way, if it wasn't obvious, I had not yet met my girlfriend when this came out. But I'm just like, all right, I guess like this is a super progressive relationship. So anyway, like I said, the Airbnb, there's a little snippet of it in there, but the Airbnb host was just like kind of watching us the whole time, and it was kind of weird. And James Manzello had the idea. He's like, dude, we should make a sketch about this. It would be pretty funny. If I don't remember specifically, I'm pretty sure he wrote almost all of it. But we decided, like, wouldn't that be really cool to collaborate with these guys and make a video? So we did, and it's pretty funny. And we're gonna watch that. It's shorter than the last one, and then we're gonna pull these guys up on Zoom and continue going about our merry evening. So this is called Rwanda Airbnb Love Story.
Hello. Hey.
Giulio, great to meet you.
My name is Airbnb.
Oh wow, it's a cool name. What does it mean?
It means I let strangers sleep in my house.
It's beautiful.
This is Mutabazi. He will help you with anything that you need.
His name is Mutabazi?
Wamuteruje.
Oh, of course. There you go. It's for you. Oh my, I'm so sorry. It's been long. I don't know what's customary here.
Thanks, bro. See you later.
So Julio, I am a born-again Christian. There are some things I don't like in my house. Smoking.
Right, of course.
Drinking.
Okay.
Facebook.
Sure.
Soy milk. And most importantly, women.
You know what, Airbnb, I'm tired. I'm just gonna grab a quick rest, but thank you. And
Oh, Julio. I'm watching you watching.
Good thing about 2 times is the 3rd time I'll be just fine. The good thing about the left side is the lightning comes at the right time. Don't lose concentration.
I had a really nice time with you tonight. Sorry, I don't understand.
Oh, she's saying she had a nice time too.
Thank you. Hey, what's she saying?
Oh, she's saying it's time to meet her parents. What? No, I'm kidding. She thinks you're cute and she really likes you. By the way, are you here on business, travel?
Please, it's not the time.
Oh. Nakwambia kuchira ngiti tutabikora gaciro kwe.
Hakurika ukuntu wacaga inyuma cyangwa
Kuchira inyuma ko gute kweri. None se kwicara ahantu ndimo kunywa akantu kamwe ewana n'umukobwa kamwe ngo akoze ubuzamba.
Guys, please. What are you talking about?
No, I'm just saying, like, why did she act like this women were together? Like, what the hell?
This is too weird. Can you please leave?
Fine. But before I forget,
Of course. Right, yes, of course. Bye-bye. Okay, where were we?
Oh, Julio! I am watching you, Julio.
By the way, it's like 5 a.m. over there, so give them a round of applause before you. What's up? What's up, dude? There they are. Give them a give them.
Yeah, hi guys.
You guys killed it.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yo, what time is it over there? Can you guys hear me?
Actually, it is tomorrow. Okay, it is tomorrow. You guys are yesterday.
In Cameroon, it's 15, and for my brother, it's 5:15, right?
Crazy.
10th November. Yeah, they're still at 9th November, man. We're living in the future right now.
And then they call us a third, right? Mm-hmm. Who's behind?
Who's behind right now?
Well, guys, I want to give you guys the floor to say whatever you want to say. So, you guys have the floor. So, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks for having us, man. Thanks for having us. I'm wearing a shirt, but I can assure you I have my boxes on, you know. It's still very early in the morning, man. I can't stand up right now. So you're just gonna have to see the passport picture. So my name is Babu. That's what a lot of people know me by. It's my AKA, but my real names are John Muyenzi Naifa. I got the names from my dad, you know. I don't know what they mean aside from John, you know, and he doesn't know what they mean either. So Giulio, every time when he was here, he would ask me like, well, where are we going? Oh, Kichukiro. Wow, what does that name mean? Like, not everything in Africa has a meaning. What does Boston mean? Like, you see that, yeah? What does New York mean? It's not new, right? Yeah. So I was born in Kenya. My mom is Kenyan and my dad is Rwandan, and I know a lot of people have a lot of questions about Rwanda. You know, whenever I travel, you know, there's a lot of people who have different stories about Rwanda. But it's always good for you to come and check it out for yourself. I was in Kenya one time, and this guy came out to me like, but Rwanda, you guys do not have freedom of speech. you know. And there's a lot of critics of the president, Paul Kagame. And so this guy was telling me, like, you know, you cannot just talk about the president how you want. And I'm like, what do you mean? And it's like, you see, in Kenya, you know, we have a president called Uhuru Kenyatta. So I can go to his office, you know, it's called State House. I can go to State House and say, Uhuru Kenyatta, you're fake, and nothing will happen to me. And that's what the guy was telling me, the Kenyan dude. So I was telling him, but I can also do that in Rwanda. And this dude's like, no, you cannot do that. I'm like, I can assure you, bro, I can go to the president's office, I can stand there proudly, and I can shout at the top of my lungs with all the confidence in the world, Kenyatta is fake, and nothing will happen. Like, you know, I was telling this dude that, you know, I can do that as well. But can you do that with your president? But then I was like, okay, why would I do that with my president? Because I like my president because he's so result-driven. You know, there's a lot of people who talk a lot of stuff about him, but he doesn't talk back. He works and, you know, he makes his actions prove, you know, or disprove the words that, you know, have been said about him. So I'm gonna let Michael also, that's just an introduction. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe Michael, you know, but Michael, you're supposed to go first.
Ladies first or something, because I'm wearing flowers or some stuff like that.
It's the ladies first, you know, so you got the flowers on anyway, so.
So yeah, my name is Michael Sengazi. I'm half Burundian, half Rwandan. For those who don't know, Burundi is right next to Rwanda. I hope you guys are going to be kind with me because, you know, I'm mostly a francophone before being an anglophone. So my English, sometimes I mess it up just a little bit because I got to learn English in the most unacademic way, in the most weird way. And you might think it's school, but it's 2 words. Tupac. Yeah, that was the best way to learn. Yeah, because frankly speaking, I didn't understand anything that he was saying, but I was singing like really all of it. And my mom would be so proud of me. And she doesn't also speak English. So which, you know, and she was like really happy about it. There's this song called Hit Them Up, you know, and the first of Tupac, he says, literally for those who don't know, first off, fuck your bitch, and yet the click you claim. So, and it was very nice to see my mother go like, yeah, keep going, my son, yeah. Look at my son, he's like, this is very nice. So then my father explained to her what it meant. Then I got to play 12 Years a Slave before 12 Years a Slave came. I got my ass whooped properly, you know, and you know, and of course talking about probably English. You know, English is it's so weird sometimes. Like I don't understand. You might help me with this. You guys maybe might know. Why is it that the word separately is written all together?
Very fair.
But also at the same time, the word all together is written separately. Like,
wow.
I guess it's crazy, right? And also, since I was talking about at the same time, you know, going there, first off, fuck your bitch, everything. I don't know if it happens to you, my brother Babu. Sometimes when you text, when you text in a word, like the autocorrect just removes it.
Yeah, and suggests a new word.
Suggests a new word, just replaces it. So I'm in Cameroon. I'm texting one of my guy here who's telling me that he's been trying to get laid with a lady, and it finally worked out. I'm like, yo, that's good. Good for you. I'm glad you finally, you know, fucked that coochie up. And then the text was like, and the text.
I hope there are no kids in the audience. So like, wow.
There are kids? Damn.
I don't actually know, but dude, it doesn't matter. Whatever. Fuck them.
Yeah. Fucking kids.
Fuck them.
That's how they arrived here in the first place. So it's alright.
So the autocorrect went like, nope, flip the couch up. I'm like, no, my friend, I meant fuck the coochie up. It'll go to correct when flip the couch up. I'm like, no. So I had to add it in the dictionary, which was cool until, my dad couldn't find the remote and then texted me like, yo, bro, I can't find the remote. I'm like, I don't know, ask mom, just check in the living room. If need to, flip the couch up, Yeah, it was, but I would like to say something to you. I can't wait to be there and come see you there, my brother, because I've seen movies about it. I'd like to get in the US and get myself a nice, African American lady, and go to Washington D.C., and take the picture. The famous picture in front of the White House that people take. The famous picture where it's take that one, and if possible, just go there inside the White House, and visit. Maybe get even in the Oval Office now, if I, in Biden's office. If I get the chance to go there, I'm gonna do a little role play with the lady.
Dude, I'll give you a Viking helmet. You'll fit right in.
Yeah, I'll fit right in. My name is going to be Bill, and I'm sure you guessed where her name is going to be. Crying. Yeah, crying. Biden's gonna like that one. Yeah, it's a very beautiful place. And lastly, I'd like to say that I know there's been a lot of controversy about the vaccine, about the corona. Some people want to take it, some people don't. That's okay. And I would like to mention one quick thing. Do you know what else, Babu? Do you know what else Pfizer makes?
What?
Viagra. So, if we were to tell some guys that there's and they were looking to help some heart and problems with the respiratory problems, and they found Viagra. So we can tell them that this might be some new type of Viagra.
A lot of people
just put the vaccine here. Yeah, just put it everywhere. Just put it back.
Don't be a dick about it now.
But yeah, man, it's a pleasure to be talking to you, Giulio, man. I hope everything's fine. I hope your audience is going good. And
Dude, they're having a great. I think they're having fun, man. They. I wish you guys could see them. They're awesome. Guys, while I have you here, I want to ask you a couple things. First of all, I mean, everybody has seen and heard about my perspective of everything with me coming and stuff. I would love to hear that story through your perspective. If you don't mind, if whoever thinks they got a better grasp of it can go for it.
Well,
Babu, go ahead.
I think Mika just talked a lot there, so I'm gonna take this one. So it was yeah, I got you, bro. I got you. Yeah, so it was very very random the way everything was, which was like the beauty of it all. We were holding we had just signed a deal with the national television. And we were doing weekly comedy shows on TV. And the weekly shows on TV that we were doing then are really what revolutionized the industry that we have nowadays. There's a lot of people that, are trying out comedy, acting sketches in Rwanda, and a lot of comedians, and just the Rwandan society just, wants and embraces humor and just wants to laugh. Because when we were starting out, I know Michael can maybe tell you this, the Rwandan society did not really want to laugh at that moment. The society was still grieving after the genocide against the Tutsis. Things were very, we were very reserved. I think that's the word we used to use when we were speaking about Rwandans and the art industry. There was not a love song that was sang in Rwanda after the genocide until 2006. That was when, the first love song, was played on radio after the genocide. Before the genocide, there was a lot of love songs.
We were still making babies though, but
yeah. Yeah, the babies were still being made, no doubt, right? But it was all about just, reconciliation and healing. When there was a time when some people would be laughing and I know this might sound strange to you a little bit, but there was a point where people were just like, I don't want to feel joy in my body. Okay, I don't want to laugh, right? There was a period where the one was like that, particularly when we were starting out. So when our parents and a lot of people who used to tell us we're gonna do comedy, they used to look at us weird, like at these people crazy, like in this audience, like yeah, can you make it work? But we worked so hard, people still loved it, they came around, they started laughing at our jokes, and then we finally signed this huge deal on TV to do weekly shows. And then like a couple of months in, we get this text from Facebook. There's that journalist that came to Michael. You remember the journalist that came from? Yeah, we met at Rwanda Arts Initiative. It's an organization that helps out artists. So we met this journalist. She came to our rehearsals. She was, doing stories, and she covered our story. And somehow Giulio read it. It was very weird. And then he reached out. When he reached out, it's like, wow, I saw you guys in a magazine. And I'm like, oh, so someone actually read that magazine. I thought like nobody's gonna like.
Like someone in the US gonna read it for real?
Like for real, and actually, look us up and see that we're real, for real. But it happened. Yeah. So yeah, and Giulio was like, yo, I'd like to come over there. And at that moment, we were speaking to some comedians from Nigeria and another one from, I think, Ghana, who were doing a tour from the south. And they wanted to come and do a couple of shows in Rwanda. And then Giulio hits us up and he's like, yo, I would like to come there anytime you guys have a show. So we're like, wait, we can organize, we always wanted to organize a festival. So we're like, how about we organize a festival? Let's call Giulio from the US. Let's call these guys from Nigeria and Ghana. Let's reach out to our brothers in Kenya, Uganda, comics in Burundi. We had traveled around East Africa, we had performed. And we're like, yo, we can actually, do the first ever comedy festival in Rwanda. We felt like we needed that, and we were like, yeah, if you can come over, just please, because we love, that's how we work with comedians from Uganda. Collaboration is a very important, thing, amongst us. We value collaboration a lot.
I didn't believe it was gonna be, but
I didn't believe.
I didn't believe. I'm like, nah, he's messing with us.
His best. Actually,
I thought you guys were messing with me, dude.
No, I thought you were messing with us. I was like waiting. I'm like, I'm gonna go to the plane and see if they actually bring the guy, the same guy.
Wait, I don't know why. I knew it was all gonna come together because at some point, even a Japanese comedian reached out to us like, a week to the show or something like that. It was some weird, it was very weird, like, why Japan? Yeah. But he came through, Saku. Yeah, and it was awesome, and we just had this awesome experience, and we went around with, and Giulio. What I liked about Giulio, he just did not come to want to perform and leave. He just wanted to get a feel of the space. He wanted to learn about us, about our culture. He traveled a little bit. Went to see, some space, so in the mountains, right, the gorillas.
Yeah, that was rough.
Hiking,
dude. They told me, they're like, oh, we'll go on a little hike, and like we didn't sleep that much, and I was pretty hungover, and now it was like 15,000 feet, dude.
We were taking shots. At night. I'm like, I'm just supposed to be hiking tomorrow. I was like, nah, it's a little hike, so don't worry. I'm like, experience is the best teacher.
Dude, and the guy told me, he was like, we might see gorillas on this hike. And like, I was so banged up that like, if I saw a gorilla, I wouldn't even have cared. Like, that was fucking rough.
Yeah, man. So when Giulio was awesome, man. He came out, we did some sketches together. We hanged around, went to the studio, it was beautiful. It was just a nice experience. Just to share that with someone from, across the world, someone like, imagine someone you did not know, you know, and that's family that you're not born with. You're not obliged to have that family. That's family you choose, you know, and that's strong. I read somewhere that's where they say that, you know, blood is thicker than water or something like that. Yeah,
Something like
because.
that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, because it says that, you know, there are some people that you came through, you know, from the womb, you know, when you share that water. But there are some people who you have relationships that, you know, you share by blood that you choose to share. You see that something. It was smarter when I read about. Trust me, it was very smart and well.
It sounded better, right? I also wanted to say that this sounds better. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Just imagine it.
Imagine how smart.
How smart it sounded when I read it. But it was so good when Giulio came, you know, and then Zach, shout out to Zach.
Zach's here, dude.
You
Zach's
remember Zach?
Zach's
here?
Yeah, Zach's here, dude.
Shout out to James Manzeo as well.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. He is unfortunately not here, but he says hello.
Yeah, the three musketeers. I like what you guys are.
Fucking Three Musketeers. All right. Well, hold on, Michael. If you have anything to add, go for it. And if not,
I'll just say that yes, it was an amazing experience. I didn't know what to expect, frankly speaking. I didn't know what to expect. Now imagine you're halfway across the world, and the only thing that puts you together with that person, that just links you up, is just a form of art. And the person, I want to there. And you're like, huh? It's like, I want to come there. You're like, bro, okay. We would love to have you here. Like, really? But are you sure? Because, you know, like, I'm sure some family members, you know, when they hear Africa, even my own family members that live in the US and were born and raised there, never been in Rwanda, and they would hear about Africa, they'd be like, oh, that's dangerous. Why would you want to go? There's bullets flying and monkeys dying, or monkeys flying and bullets dying. And we don't have the best image in which sometimes is just not even true. And then comes this guy who's like, fuck it. That's my type of crazy. I like that. And
that was crazy though.
And then he pulls up. I still don't believe it's normal. I still don't. You know, even after all these years, I'm like, man, you know, maybe, you know, babysitter way too close to the wall, his brain would boom, boom, I don't know, something like that. And yeah, man. And not only that, he performs in front of a crowd he never performed in front of. And does his job very well.
I don't know, dude. I think you're giving me a little too much credit there, maybe. I started hot.
I'm trying to be nice here.
I appreciate it.
No, when we said we have a comedian from the US, it's true what Michael said. Like, you know, people didn't know what to expect. Giulio didn't know what to expect. He just, you know, he went and became real. He was real on stage. You know, we can't say that he flopped because, you know, it's his. You know, but we can't say that he killed it as well. You know,
he didn't flop. He didn't flop. He didn't kill it. He just.
It was okay.
He experienced it.
And even after that, I was gonna, you know, I thought like Giulio was gonna be like, you see them when you invite someone and someone pulls up and then he does his job and that's it.
Yeah.
No, he's crazy with that. He's like, no, fuck it, let's get fucked up and then just go on a hike. I'm like 1,500.
That's how I roll, dude.
Have a mountain with like gorillas, and I'm like, bro, I haven't even been to the gorillas, and they're like in the back. I haven't. But this guy's like, nah, wanna go? With a hangover. I'm like, yeah, he's crazy. Yeah, he's crazy. So, but big shout out to you, bro. I still don't believe that you did that, but I'm glad you did that.
Dude, me too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, fucking dope. All right, I want to ask you guys a couple questions, and then I'm going to let you go back to bed. First of all, one thing that I found very surprising when I was over there was like, by the way, nobody was taking anything seriously, and I was actually very impressed at how racist you guys are to each other.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is great. This is hilarious. Like, you guys are just busting on each other, and I was like, oh my god. But the one time everybody got serious is when everybody's like, you need to go to the Genocide Museum. Like everybody, both of you too, everybody. And I was like, is that just a thing? Like, what makes it that everybody is like that? If that makes sense.
There was actually a point that we were getting criticized as a country, you know, that the genocide this genocide memorial is kind of like a museum, you know. Some people were asking, is it like a museum? Is it like a tourist site? You know, is it like somewhere everybody has to go? You know, but you know, when you speak about Rwanda, it's hard to speak about Rwanda without adding the genocide, you know, against the Tutsi in 1994, right? It made us famous, like on a whole nother level.
Which was not very famous, but we could have tried better.
Infamous, yeah, we would have, yeah. But
we had some ideas, but yeah.
But there are a lot of stories about what really happened, and if you come to Rwanda, we would like for you to get to know and to, because if you share that with us, you know, with Rwanda, it's very very dear to us. And we take it personally as Rwandans, you know, what happened. And we like to, the reason why we remember it and we do not forget it is because, of course, we don't want it to happen again, okay? And part of remembering, there's also healing, there's also reconciliation, you know, and nowadays the youth, there's a lot, when you talk about the justice, it's pre-genocide, there's a lot of traumas in the country right now. There's pre-genocide and there's post-genocide. The people who were born after the genocide, you know, the youth today, you know, how are they dealing with what happened in the past? Maybe when they're not here, you know, when they were not there, or when they were very young to remember. So we want to all be in the same picture. We want to share that with you. When you come to Rwanda, trust me, you're gonna have fun. You're gonna have fun. It's gonna be a different Rwanda than the one that you hear about if you have never visited. So if you're gonna have fun with us, we need to also know, you know, well, you need to also feel that with us, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Cool. And basically, and be our advocates, not only in Rwanda that the genocide needs not or never to happen again, but in the whole world. You know, they're survivors, you know, the genocide against the Tutsi in 94, who traveled the whole world to like countries like Syria, you know, all these countries with a stand. I don't know which, you know, Pakistan. There's also a war happening in those countries. Right. Yeah, they go over there and they tell their story. And
we're very sorry if someone's called Stan in the audience, by the way.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, if there's a Stan over there. Shout out to any Stans over there. No Eminem fans over there. Anyway, so yeah, that's why you need to remember. That's why you need to visit the memorial site, because we need you to know what happened. We need you to hear it, you know. We need you to see it and feel it with us. Yeah. Yeah, let's talk about it. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, so that you can also live here as an advocate, you know, against any form of, they call it xenophobia, right? Because genocide is also, it manifests from xenophobia. So yeah, that's really what we are trying to fight, you know. So it's very important to us.
Yeah.
Basically, you live Rwanda with a little bit more knowledge about the genocide, and a hangover and a hike right after it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Everybody loves that. They're loving that.
They love the hangover part. I'm sure they'll.
Okay. Two more quick things. So one, I don't know if you guys remember this. The first night where I was there, we went to that like art place, you know, with that guy Stefan and whatever, all that stuff.
Mm.
And at one point, everybody was drinking a lot. At the end of the night, I don't know who asked this. It might have been some like random expat person who was there hanging out, but they were like, they were pretty drunk, and they looked at that guy Mike, who you guys recognized he was singing in the video, and they're like, "So are you a Tutsi or Hutu?" And I remember they got really annoyed at that question, and they, which I expected, but their response I didn't expect. They were like, "Dude, we are Rwandan."
Exactly.
And I was like, "Whoa,
True
dude."
That.
So is there something about that? Like, is that a thing?
Yeah, what I can say about that is that, you know, what people might not know, they think that Tutsi or Hutu are ethnies. You know, they became ethnies. They used to be classes. So it depends basically on how much money you have.
Right.
So you could wake up a Hutu, and then the king passes next day, because back then it was like king, and the king passes next house, see your wife or your daughter or whatever he likes, and then he takes her and he cow, and then you become Tutsi because, you know, you're balling right now. You got, you know, you got a lot of, you know, so
Cows are really important to us.
They are
Cows,
really important to us. Not the
Rwandans and
Indian ones.
Indians. Yeah. Rwandans and Indians takes.
We can eat them. Indians, they're gods.
Yeah, we can eat. Yeah.
They were like money. So they are like cows. So you like, so you like balling. So you leave from Hutu to Tutsi. And then if a thief comes to your house and then steals the cows, then you're back to broke. So
true that.
I mean,
it was like a Forbes list. It was like a Forbes list. It was
like a ranking. So
like a
what
ranking of how rich you were.
Yeah, so what the Germans and the Belgians did when they came through is that, you know, divide to conquer, you know how it went with the
colonialism.
They had to find a way to separate people, so they fixed it and they gave it physical features in order for you to be like, oh, bad guy, good guy. So, or like, oh, this is bad. Basically just to differentiate them, which was not there. So when the guy says, are you Hutu or Tutsi? I'm like, bro, we don't have that anymore, you know. First of all, we don't have that anymore. We removed it because of all Rwandan. Second of all, I'll have to check my bank account.
That's so funny. That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, but right now there's that recognition that we are Rwandans, because if you go to Uganda, right, they have tribes and other ethnic or whatever, because they have different languages that they speak. You know, they have, you know, their own unique little languages that are unique. They over like 54 languages in Uganda that are spoken in different tribes. In Congo, it's like what, over like 500. You never know. Nobody even counted. In Kenya, there are like over 46 languages in, you know, different tribes and all that. And they're always about which tribe is the best, who's bigger than who, you know. But in Rwanda, we are the same people who speak one language, you know. And everywhere you'll go in different parts of the country, everyone is going to be speaking one language. There's nothing there really to differentiate us. And language is a very, very important thing, key part of your tribe or your ethnicity, you know, something that differentiates you from someone else. The Kikuyus and the Jaluos in Kenya, you know, and the Toros and the Luos in Uganda. They speak different languages, you know, from different clans or whatever. So for us, we are Rwandans. So let's not focus on what differentiates us. You know, that used to be a status. So let's just focus on, you know, what brings us together. As we heal, as we reconcile, you know, we needed to find something that brings us together rather than something that's gonna, you know, bring us apart again. So that's why we chose to say, you know what, we are Rwandans. Let's be Rwandans. Whoever you are, wherever you are, if you're Rwandan, you're Rwandan. Yeah. So that's how it came about. But every once in a while, someone is gonna ask you that. I've been asked that. Are you a Hutu or Tutsi? At some point, I was even asking my father. Yeah, they ask you that a lot. You have to get used to that, you know, and do not get mad at that, because, you know, it was a reality at some point. But we need to, you know,
Yo, Babu.
Educating people. Yeah.
You remember we get asked that question so many times. They sometimes even fuck up the actual names of the Hutus and Tutsis.
Yeah,
Hervé,
yeah.
that woman that went to him. Hervé is a friend of ours, also a comedian. He was traveling to
Yeah.
Switzerland. Wherever you go, someone has seen. Oh, you're Rwandan.
Yeah.
Go to Rwanda. Go to Rwanda. Oh, sorry. Then they ask you. So that lady went on and asked that brother, like, so are you tutus or sushis?
We are sushis.
Like, depends. Like, you don't know. Like, they even, I'm like, at least get it right, bro. Like,
Yeah, true, yeah, but
make an effort, bro, and help me.
That's hilarious.
True that, yeah, that's awesome.
Awesome. Well, guys, sorry, were you going to say something? Go for it.
No, I was just saying, but then, we're all Rwandan, and that's that, bro.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's that, man. That's what matters right now.
Dope. Guys, awesome. Well, before we go, I want to, what do you guys have coming up? What are you working on? Where can everybody find you?
Before we can sit, I would just like to say this, man. One thing that I liked about Giulio is his name, Gallarotti. He says that. Yeah. He says I'm one of the few people that says it right. It's crazy.
Someone is saying no in the audience.
What?
Like, you're probably fucking it up, bro.
Oh, I'm so sorry, man. You probably lied to me. Gallarotti. You know what I'm saying?
It's not Gallarotti.
But yeah. Gallarotti. What? Gallarotti.
No?
That's good, dude.
Yeah. Anyway, but Africans, we have some weird names. But I must say this before we end this, man. You Caucasians have one of the weirdest names that I've heard. But
with all due respect,
with all due respect, you guys, my stepsister is Canadian, so it's like a nice American, right? A nice version of an American.
Yeah, the nice ones.
Yeah, just nice ones, yeah, and safe ones, yeah. So it's like she's a therapist. She's a therapist here in Rwanda. She has some friends who have some weird names. She has a friend called Rhoda Dick. I was like, she has a twin called, she has a twin called Anita. Anita Dick. And their father is the nicest, man. Harry Dick. Like, Harry Dick is so awesome. And there's this African American. She came to teach, wherever she holds classes because she's a counselor, and so she's African American. She has one of the names I've never heard before. So it's not only Caucasian. Maybe it's an American problem. She's called Shahid. Shahid Henderson. And Shahid, when it was projected, it was Shithhead, Henderson. It looked a lot like shithead to me. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm like, Shahid. Oh wow. Shahid. The first time I've heard of that word. Yeah, Shahid Henderson. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we're working on a lot. Actually, we are planning shows over here. Michael is on tour. He'll speak a little bit about that. We're on IG, we're on Facebook. Maybe Babu Joe. That's mine. Michael will maybe give you his names. But yeah, we are preparing a show. We are preparing puppets. We have some stuff to do with puppets, man. We're gonna start using puppets and introducing puppets and comedy into the Rwandan, audience and kids, teaching kids about traffic education or whatever. Yeah. 1 month show for me, a couple 1 month shows for Michael, and radio podcast, some short films as well. So there's a lot in store, man. There's a lot of commercials.
So I follow both of these guys. So Babu is Babu. You'll find him. And I think Michael's is Sengazi, which is Sengazi, right? If you type those things in, you'll find him.
Sengazi. You got it right.
I got you, bro.
Yeah, and for me, I'm doing a tour in right now. I'm in Cameroon. I just finished doing a one-man show here, which is called Funny Times, and then I'm going in Ivory Coast next week to do another one-man show called Did You Just Say Sex? With a question mark. And then we'll go back
It's
to
very
Kigali.
sensitive. It's like you need to tell them how sensitive.
Yeah, it's very sensitive in
Talk
our
about sex.
midst, to talk
Yeah.
about sex. There's like controversial things happening in the U.S. Around Dave Chappelle and what he said in his show and etc. And about LGBTQ and everything. So basically, it's who you fucking. So like, who cares, right? Like, we will just be having like problems with that. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because to say that it's sensitive in our place, well, in Uganda, gay people, they kill them. So that's just it's just, it's not even, y'all are debating about it. In Uganda, they just kill them. I mean, it's that's how sensitive the topic is. That's why I do a show called Did You Just Say Sex? So we can talk about each and everything and be open about each and everybody the way.
And hope they don't kill you, you know.
Yeah, and hope and pray I don't get killed too. So yeah, and then we go to the puppet shows. Then we're planning to do the festival. The one Giulio came in next year, and this time, Giulio, you know already, we've been expanding on different countries. Cool. So we had started in Kigali, Rwanda, and Burundi, and then we're going to do Kigali, Rwanda, Burundi, and Congo, the eastern side. So we're going to push it to Centrafrique. How do you say Centrafrique? Central Africa.
Republic.
Republic of Central Africa. Yeah. And maybe also Congo, Brazzaville, and inshallah, South Africa. So it's one festival, which is called the Caravan of Laughter. So we're going to try and go all around those countries and as many other projects. And as Giulio said, my name is Sengazi, Sengazi, Michael. So you just type that wherever, you feel like, and you'll see some content in French.
Or just go to the people that Giulio is following and just...
You'll find them. Guys, give it up for Babu and Michael. You guys are awesome. Hopefully I'll see you soon. Take care. Thank you, boys.
Thank you very much.
Later. Guys, thank you so much for coming out. I think we're going to hang out here for a little bit. Thank you guys so much for coming. This is like super important project to me. It was a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks a lot. Take care.